Welcome back to another episode where we deep dive previous characters and previous versions of GuiltyGearStrive. Also, I mentioned, like I said in yesterday's video, that this was done in the exact same day because it's my birthday. I'm currently 27! I'm so old. I'm going to be a little bit busy on the 21st, so here's hoping I'm able to create a video for Monday. But GuiltyGearStrive has been out for ages now. Been out for 5 years. And I like this series because it lets me look back at the previous versions of Strive and wonder how we got to the point where we're at, where it's just way more balanced and a better perspective. May is the talking point of today's video as she was broken on launch. We all know May is a very strong character who can do high damage off of a random poke. She's weird as a strong character. It's like everybody recognizes that the character is without a doubt strong, but nobody's really certain in putting her in top tier. Nobody's willing to make that discussion yet. Well, back in the day, there was no need for a discussion. A lot of people were just absolutely certain without a doubt that this character was a top tier that could do anything. Parcel, Bad Guy, Zato and Ram would run the scene. I think Nagoriyuki was starting to build up a little bit to that point. And we all know what we think about the players back then with this iconic clip.
Wallah, you're carried! You're carried!
And the character is more ridiculous with damage, which is shocking to say considering what you know her for now, and her neutral was way more scarier than it is currently. She never really struggled during this period, but let's get into the nitty and gritty, the specifics of the character. So usually I have an order of priority. I go over speed, I go over offense, I go over neutral, like in a certain order, but the thing that I want to just talk about immediately was the damage. May back then was the damage dealer of the game. Don't get me wrong, Potemkin was insane, but he needed like counter hit 5H of 2 bars of meter to really do anything. Still, Bad Guy just needed 10% risk in a bar meter. May was 10% risk, and that was about it. She had some insane starters being close slash 2H, 6H or 5H, all of them being fantastic starters for dealing a shitload of damage, both meterlessly or with counter hit or with meter, and with meter and a counter hit. Either or, she could destroy you with these buttons as a starter. And all of her Dolphin starters didn't have the 100% proration, so her scaling was way better on a Dolphin back then, allowing her to dump even more damage. And you know what she needed? She needed more damage routings off of her 5p and 2k and 5k, so what they did is they made it so 6p wall bounces near the wall, making her 5p confirms do gungula amounts of damage as she's able to confirm into up Dolphin and go crazy from there. So her damage was high because if she jabbed you, she could do a lot near the corner. If she hit you, she could do a lot. If she had you near the corner and did her command grab, she could chunk off about 30 or 40% of your life. This character was ridiculous when it came to damage. And if she wanted more ways to either get damage or get into damage, jumping heavy would do just that, being a fantastic starter on counter hit. This character was nothing but damage, and this was the main thing that everybody knew May for. Her neutral was also kinda disgusting. Her disjoints back in the day, I believe, were a little bit better than they are currently, which is insane to say because her disjoints currently are fantastic. 2S was the god poke that did everything you wanted to do. Back then, it was massive, very good poke for round start. And 4/ is still a pretty good god button today, so I'm not going to talk about that. Tools had good recovery and good hit everything. 5HB, one of the main notes, as this was before the big nerf, and made it pretty spammable in neutral. Her neutral gets even scarier as she had jump ins galore. A lot of her jump ins were either really active or disjointed, JHB one of the main culprits that you recognize today. And if any of them were a counter hit, remember what we talked about earlier, you get the point. But the main thing that made her neutral tricky is she didn't have Dolphin jump yet, so they had to design Dolphin to be fine on its own. So back then, it's kinda nutty. S-Dolphin put her at a spacing trap where being -5 isn't that bad, and she's able to counter poke you in a lot of setups. It's really cheeky. And Heavy Dolphin was +5 on block, allowing her to get super offensive if this was blocked. Like, you were put through hell if you blocked it. But you wanna know what was insane? Her 3k. Her 3k nowadays, a lot of people recognise it as a bit of a mid tool. The only way you could get any good usage out of it is to spend meter to either go for a mix or to actually hit confirm it. Back then, you didn't want to spend meter because it used to hard knockdown on hit, making it a fantastic combo option for setting up hard knockdown Oki. Or, throwing out a neutral, did you hit, don't spend the bar, was it blocked, PRC. But she was able to avoid a ton of attacks and get a hard knockdown, and that allowed Mei to run her offense. So you get the point. Her neutral was tough. You had to deal with dolphin, jump-ins, and now there's a low crushing attack. It wasn't easy fighting Mei. And what happens when she got started? Whew, that is a different ballpark. Our close slash being +3 is kinda insane. Coming out in 7 frames of being +3 is ridiculous because the standard is +1. And this led to insane staggers as she's able to do close slash, walk out close slash with not much room to mash. You'll get hit on a lot of your mash tools besides going for a 5p or 2p. But this was back when characters 5ps and 2ps weren't universal. Some of them came out in 6 frames, some of them came out in 7 frames, some of them came out in 8 frames. Some came out in 3 frames, so it wasn't easy to mash depending on your character. Potemkin is the best example of this, as 5p would whiff on me and 2p came out in 8 frames. You get the point. And this was back during the day where risk was absurd. For anybody that doesn't know, risk back in the day meant 10% meant deleting a health bar. And Mei's buttons built a ton of risk, either through a couple of normals or dolphin offense. If she finally hit you after building it up, she was deleting your health. There was no arguing it. It was disappearing. If she had risk built up and maybe a bar a meter, it was a TOD starter. Simple as. That is what made Mei so scary, is that blocking led to your demise. So it made you very active on defense, and that's where it got scarier, because as we know, she also had pretty decent lows and she had some pretty good overheads and she could jump ins for staggering offense. And jumping and trying to escape on staggering offense is the worst thing that you can do, if she's able to capitalize. Let's say you got comfortable with the offense, you're like, okay, I'm not gonna mash, I'm not gonna be silly, I'm just gonna wait for a blocked 5H and then look for my opportunity to escape afterwards. Well, she had a command grab. And in the corner, like mentioned before, the command grab did a ton. In mid-screen, the combo was simple, not as hard knockdowny as it is today, but back in the day, if she got the corner with this command grab, she was Potemkin. This was Potemkin if Potemkin can run. And of course her stagger offense got better with dolphins. You know her for a Totsugeki, be -5 pushback, completely fine, or +5 with so much avenue to do offense. Blocking a dolphin didn't mean you did well. And then of course she had the overhead, which isn't insane. It's kind of like chip overhead where it's like, who cares? Lastly, her supers. Now this was during the period where super RC was a big deal, because nowadays this is a thing of the past, right? She used to be able to do this super here that gave invincibility and did high damage, and if she had a bar a meter, this was an unscaled starter left-right mix-up. She could put you in the blender off of an iframe get-up. To put into perspective, Kai doing Ride the Lightning into RC, he can only really do a mid or maybe go into a low or go for a throw. He can't do anything insane. Mei can put you left-right, command grab, high-low. That's what we're talking about. She obviously has the Great Yamada, which is still in Strive and hasn't really changed. High damage. The main thing about Mei that made her scary back in the day was high damage, easy ways to confirm it, and her offense being staggering. Being completely trapped against me felt awful. I didn't even mention the fact that she's tanky. She's one of the more tankier characters in the roster during this point, having high guts but a low defensive modifier. Tanky characters at this point were Potemkin, Sol, Leo, and I'm guessing Mei. There weren't really many tanky characters in Strive when we're at this launch point of the game. But Mei was a monster just due to being able to do insane offense, high damage, and deleting your health bar off of one hit. That was the Mei Classic. That is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, hype, sub, and tell me who I should cover for revisiting Strive 1.0. And Lucas, I hope you enjoyed, big man. You did request this one. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, and wish me happy birthday. See ya.